So evening, my lovely yogis. Joining me on the mat, either seated or lying down. And just feel into your energy this evening, what you need. For me this evening, I feel like I need a kind of a nurturing, almost like my practice needs to be a little bit of a cuddle for me. And so we're going to have a nice gentle one this evening. And if you have to make it even softer and even more restorative, then so be it. Sometimes we just need that sometimes. Take a few deep breaths and a lovely sigh on the exhale, and just feel your shoulders drop. Let's do another one. Letting go more than just the physical tension, letting go whatever you're holding mentally and emotionally as well. And then rooting down, have a moment to root. And just feel your breath in your body. Come into this present moment. How many times today could you honestly say you've been in the present moment? And have you been there for very long before the mind has dragged you forwards into the future or backwards into something of the past? It's really hard to be very mindful in the moment throughout the day, especially when we have our routine. So we can really savour this time where we are, almost for perhaps a whole hour, more in the moment than any other time. So when you're ready, if you're lying down, have a nice long moment to hug the knees in. We're not going to rush this evening. We might even take a little bit longer of a meditation. And if you're seated and you just need to have a little bit of a wriggle, flex, move the shoulders and the head. And enjoy just moving slowly, mindfully observing all the limbs and body parts we move as we come up to seated. And we will practice just mindfulness of breath, but in a sense where we're just going to sit with our thoughts rather than focusing on the breath, although it's lovely to kind of come back and that's our tool to bring us back. We're going to do the meditation where we just observe our thoughts. So there's two types of meditation. There's a focused type where we're either gazing at a candle or we're focused on our breath or a mantra. These are all focused ways of meditating. But the other way, which is often a bit harder, is to just be the witness of the mind and the witness of all the thoughts and just consciously aware of everything that's going on in the moment. It does lend itself to the mind wandering off a lot more, but that's the practice. So we'll do at least 5 minutes today. We'll see if we go a little bit longer. And notice if your body knows the 5-minute marker kind of subconsciously, and maybe we'll do, a few more minutes or maybe even 10 minutes, who knows. Let's just see if we can really settle into this. So relax. And without any agenda, we're just witnessing the thoughts and the mind. You are the observer. Being very present to everything that you're noticing. Notice when your mind has been taken away, and then just become the witness again. Coming back to the present. And just gently, still with your eyes closed, just being aware of that thought that's going through your mind right now. Taking a couple of breaths, we can just blink our eyes open. And coming back, notice how that felt. I always say this, but how many times did your mind wander and then you finally caught yourself doing it? It happened a couple of times for me. The rest of the time I was quite aware of actually what was going on in my head. Thinking about the thinking of the thoughts. So I would say overall, that was just almost 8 minutes. So slightly longer than we're used to. But it's nice to try different lengths of time every now and then, because it will feel different. Sometimes that will feel really long. Other times you think, oh, that went by in a flash. So just noticing. We're going to come into seal as our first pose, but a lovely soft one. I'm going to use all the supports going this evening. So a lovely cushion for the belly, sort of upper part of the chest, and a block. And actually today I'm going to put a little bit of a soft blanket over the block, because sometimes these yoga blocks can be a little bit hard. And just going to rest the forehead down. And I'm on the lower setting as well. We just want to feel a nice little stretch through the front of our belly and body, and a flex backwards into our spine. Really try and, slide the elbows aside if you need to come low here. Relaxing legs and feet. And just tune into whether the lower back and buttocks are tight and you feel unsafe. Keep relaxing and letting go. Nice deep belly breaths. Really feeling the movement in the body, in the back as you breathe. And now just draw your awareness to your neck and your head. And notice if there's a real tension in the back of the neck and it's quite rigid. Let go, relax your face. How do you feel? Is it getting easier? Is there an enjoyment in this pose? Just notice if you're happy where you are or whether you would like to sort of deepen the stretch a bit. And if you do deepen the stretch, can you relax as much? How long can you stay focused with your breath? And let's take a few more breaths and enjoy coming out of the pose. How's that felt? Take a moment to just gently release. And take your time if you need to move quite a few of your props. And let's just slowly roll down. How do you feel about your body as you lie here? Take a few moments to let everything just start to melt. Maybe the lower back is softening just slightly now. Are your shoulders relaxed? Is there a tightness anywhere in your face? And you can just follow your breaths. And we'll gently hug our knees in. Give yourself a cuddle. Sometimes people find it hard to say that they love themselves. I know a lot of people that can't quite do it. It feels strange. So I find there's a softer version. If you can say, I like myself, I like me, I think you can work with that. As we come up, we're going to come into Dragonfly. And this evening I'm going to use a little rolled blanket or sort of fold blanket and sit on it so that there's a tiny little bit of a lift on sort of the edge of the buttocks. Just has that tiny little added effect of tilting the pelvis a little bit forward, a bit like the moon cushions do. So you can have a try if you want to. Only really brings you sort of probably not even an inch, half an inch up. And we'll just settle, gently exploring where this pose is going to go. You might find that you want to be really quite on the low end of your threshold. Relaxing feet and ankles, and just find any tension as you work up your legs. And then softening shoulders and neck. Where do you feel it this evening? Under the knees or the inside of the knees? Inner thighs? And relaxing more as you breathe. Relaxing the backs and tops of your knees and your feet. And just focus on your breath. How does this pose feel this evening? Working closely with the liver and the kidneys. The liver, excuse me. The negative energy of the liver is anger. And the negative aspect of the kidneys is fear. So if we are holding any of this, we can encourage more balance here in these meridians. Just notice if you can lean into this more, if it feels right. And how do you feel in your body here? Does your body feel spacious or restricted? Does your heart feel open or closed? Is the mind clear or fuzzy? Nice deep breath. And we'll gently come up. Even as you lift up really slowly, just noticing that release, the softness that comes back into the legs as the body comes upwards. And then neutral. We're going to come into banana next. So you can always have your blanket over you for that. Because we're lying down, it might feel quite nice to add a little bit of softness in while we're doing these poses. Even if you don't need a blanket, sometimes can just feel cozy. Just have a moment in neutral to start with. Nice sigh. Everything relaxes just as you let the out breath come out. How long is it taking for your back to settle? How does it feel to breathe? Is there an openness in your chest and lungs? Or a heaviness today? How do your hands feel, and fingers, the details of life and how we manage our life with our hands? And so when we're ready, we'll come into banana. You can bring your knees in for a hug if you want to. Otherwise, we'll just take our feet over to the right. And the right lower corner, and then right foot over the left if you want it to be a bit softer. And then just shuffling shoulders to the top right so that everything moves to the right and we get a bend through the left side of our body. You might want to just adjust sort of your buttocks and just make sure they're comfortable as you move in on the mat. Just feel into this wherever you want to go. You don't have to go too much into this stretch, but just feel it. Relax your lower back and your buttocks. Often it's a place that kind of really naturally holds a bit of tension here. And as you breathe, just have an awareness of whether you really enjoy a whole deep breath in and whether you can follow the whole exhale out, because sometimes we start breathing again before we've really let all the air out. And as we consciously do this, we can really feel where the breath moves in the body here. Notice if there's any tightness in your face and you're tight around the eyes. This pose targets the gallbladder channel. And the energy there is very linked with decision making and courage. How do you like this pose tonight? Could you stay here for ages, or is your patience only allowing a little bit of time here? I think it's only natural to, depending on the day, depending on the pose we're in, to really just let go and surrender to it and forget about time and place. And other times we can be really clock watching. Yeah, just enjoy being totally relaxed here. As your breath is nice and gentle, just imagine it sort of flowing round all your internal organs, Just massaging everything as the breath moves the body up and down. We'll take one more breath here. And nice and slowly come into the middle, neutral pose. Sometime that was 5 minutes in that banana, that side. Sometimes we do it a little bit shorter length of time, so just enjoy how it feels this evening. Full length. Deep breaths. What do you notice? And we'll just gently come into the other side. So feet over to the lower left corner, and then the left foot over the right ankle. Shuffling shoulders top left. Release the side of your buttocks. And for the next 5 minutes, we're simply going to just be here, breathing, enjoying what we're feeling. If at any time you need to move or shift because it's aggravating, please do. You don't have to hold it. Relax any tightness in your waist, any tension in your abdomen. Notice if you've got your eyes closed, whether the muscles around your eyes are slightly tight, or if they can relax. How does this side feel? Do you need to adjust at all? How do you feel? Try and notice the thoughts that are in your mind. Be the witness. When we lie in these poses for a length of time, it's easy for the mind to really go off on tangents. Keep relaxing. Has the pose become a little bit easier as you've been lying here? Where are you most feeling the sensation? And again, notice if you are having a full breath in and then a full breath out, or whether they're half breaths. And then we'll just gently take a few more breaths here. And nice and slowly coming back. How did that feel? That literally we were 10 minutes between those two sides. Have a moment here. Very mindful poses because we can really relax in banana. Just feeling those stretches in the sides of the body. Maybe one side felt a bit nicer than the other one. So we'll bring our knees in. We're going to come into bench. So with a pillow, or if you'd like to, using that version with a bolster. It's a slightly different pose and it does target different parts of the body, but you can use a moon cushion, or if you've just got a little pillow. What we do is we put the bolster almost like a wedge shape, sit on the end, and then just putting the little timer on so that we're always about the same amount in our poses, and then just sort of lying back over it. I like to sort of let my body slope down a bit so that the back of the head can rest just on the top of that bolster. So if this feels nice for you, great. And you might find that putting a cushion just under where the bottom is supports you even more. Actually, that's even nicer. I'm going to add that in. If you haven't got the bolster and everything, simply just lying back over the pillow like we do with normal bench and getting yourself comfortable there. As my blanket is right down by my feet, I'm going to pull that over again. And either having knees bent, or you can have your legs stretched out, whatever feels nice. You'll know when you're comfortable, so just allow your body to settle into this. Either which way, whichever pose you've chosen, we're kind of opening the chest up and the shoulders are falling kind of backwards a little. And relax. If you have chosen one pose and you don't get on with it, come into the other one. And just letting everything relax. Always scan through your body from head to toe or toes upwards. And just look for where you find tension. When you draw your awareness to it, you'll find it. Relax the palms of your hands. Sometimes our fingers can be a bit rigid and the palm is tense. Always softening your face and jaw. Notice your emotions. Do you feel supported? Like the props and the mat and the earth are supporting you? And can this feel comfortable in your root energy? Feeling safe and secure and grounded? So linked with that feeling of knowing that you deserve to be here, that you have this place on earth. How does it feel to breathe into the chest? So we'll take a nice breath here. And ever so gently, whichever pose you've come into, lifting up slowly. Just moving your bolsters and all your props aside. The more we use, the more there is a little bit of movement that needs to go on. And if you've got your blanket close to you, pop it over your feet while you lie down. We'll come into waterfall next, so it's always nice to have your blanket over your feet then. Let's just have a moment, observe that last pose, notice what we feel throughout our body. When you lie here, perhaps it's nice to close your eyes. And what colours do you see? Is it one colour in your mind or lots of colours swirling around? Maybe there isn't anything at all. It's a big kind of grey void that you're looking into. Even just being aware of that. And we'll gently bring our knees in. Have a moment to give yourself a hug. And with a cushion, we'll just tuck this under the buttocks and come up into waterfall. And literally, if you do have a blanket over your feet, it is like a waterfall. If it's a big blanket, you can actually tuck yourself underneath and get nice and cosy. Whatever you fancy, whatever feels right. Relax your arms. Exhale, lovely sigh. As you lie here, you can feel the belly breathing, and the breath moving up into the chest. When you come into an inversion of any kind, just allows us to see the world from a different perspective. Even if it's not visually, you can allow yourself to see another person's point of view. And you might find it just a little bit clearer when your body is in a sort of a non-upright position that we don't normally allow our body to be in. Notice where your mind is. Can you draw your awareness to your breath? Can you say to yourself, I like myself? How does that feel to say that? So we just gently bend at the knees, lower the feet down, and slowly take the cushion away. Have a few breaths in neutral pose before we come into relaxation. And just feel out of that pose, nice and slowly. Let the back soften. Deep breaths. And just noticing how good you feel. Not necessarily physically, but sort of what's going on the inside. When we self-nurture, there's that feeling of self-respect. So when you're ready, let's just have a nice hug in again. Give yourself a cuddle. Say how much you like yourself. And either seated or lying down, choosing where you want to be. And if you've still got that blanket to hand, you can pop it round your shoulders or over you. Let's take a card. Let's see what message we'll get from our lovely unseen guides. Well, sometimes they're seen. Some people see them. And sometimes their messages are just there for us to be aware. Let's close my eyes and choose whatever we're supposed to get. Celeste. Just need a moment to focus. Okay, it says, a happy move to a new home or place of employment is in the works. This move will usher in positive new energy. Yes, it is time for a move. I am working with your other angels to keep your spirit and energy high during this move. Although it may seem as if moving requires a lot of effort, when you work with me and the other angels, it can actually be a time of great joy. I will help you to find a new location, and then I will assist you with the necessary details. I will also help your other family members to adjust to the move. Just ask. All I request is your trust. Trust that God and the angels are capable of finding just the right place for you. If you decide on one certain place and it doesn't work out, it is because we are bringing you something far even better. Expect miracles to occur that allow you to afford this change. Stay positive and don't buy into the illusion of scarcity thinking. We will smooth the way, and we will also help you to meet new people who can illuminate your path. So maybe that will resonate. That does hit a little spot with me this evening. So have a little moment just to be quiet again. Close the eyes, just drift off. And if you can, be that conscious observer of your mind. Very gently, you can start to bring yourself back slowly. Just feel the breath coming in and out. And notice if anything that was really tight and tense earlier seems to have sort of just shifted or relieved a little. It's really nice to observe the difference in your practice. And then if you're lying down, begin to just wiggle hands and toes and fingers and perhaps hug the knees in. If you're seated, maybe just rolling shoulders and moving the head and neck. And then just joining me when you're ready, coming up to seated slowly. And then hands to heart. Om Shanti. Namaste.